up? What up? Assalamu alaikum to Muslims. Peace and blessings to the family, all the beautiful brothers, sisters in the community. All right. And I just want to formally introduce myself and what this is. Okay. This is the official black economy, as we call it, BE period. Conversation Between Brothers podcast. All right. See, and this podcast is going to be a lot different than a lot of others because it's not a lot of gibberish and child's play and laughing, jokey and hee ha ha. And with this particular joint here, you know, no disrespect or no knocking what nobody else do, but Black Economy Inc. is a serious entity coming out of Philadelphia due to who it and what it was birthed from. You know, Black Economy is going to date back, and we're going to go over a lot of this, date back to a real serious movement of some brave men here in Philadelphia that protected the black community from white exploitation of our education system, of our financial system, of our entertainment, of our community, period. There's a group of brave men that did for themselves to establish what we know today as a black economy, controlling the black dollar, as my elder would say, control the black dollar. You hear me? Eli Shabazz, the great nephew of the great Sheikh Jeremiah Shabazz. What's up, baby? Love you, boy. Understand? So what we got going on here is really a spinoff for the grandchild of something that was very well respected, not only in Philadelphia and the tri-state area, but throughout this country. Individuals know about Top of the Clock. That City of 12. It was something about them brothers that even Elijah Muhammad, when things was getting rough for him, he know who it was he had to contact to go bring that and get everything under control wherever he was at. He knew what was up. And he knew who to go get. Understand? So that's all I'm going to lead into that. I want to welcome everybody that I'm seeing coming on to the podcast to check out your boy. If you know me, you know what we about to get into in the rap that we're going to have in this next year. If you know me. But if you don't know me, then I expect that you'll probably just stroll past and just say, look at this brother with the background, just on, you know, doing a regular podcast twist. But yeah, I'm not the regular joker. I don't care what nobody doing. If you know me, then you know Brother Mujahid. If you in Philadelphia and you on some ground roots, grassroots, no prima donna twist, then you know Brother Mujahid. 21st Shelton Avenue, Homicide Squad, Somerville. That's where I be. That's where I'm from, and that's what it is. Northwest Philadelphia, baby. 21st Shelton Avenue, Homicide Squad, Somerville. Alright? And that's what I'm repping. And I'm also repping this Black Economy / Gardner Bilal Halal Bilal Enterprise. That's who schooled me to the game. That's who gave me what I got and what I'm presenting to y'all today. My dear Sheikh Abu Bakr, a.k.a. Bo Baines, may Allah forgive him of his sins, rectify his affairs, and make his grave spacious, and grant him Jannah. Ameen. Along with Brother Bayat, Another well sheikh of mine from the city. Shout out to my elders. Maxwell Stanford, a.k.a. Muhammad Ahmed. Dr. Muhammad Ahmed. May Allah also make the grave spacious and forgive the sins of my other sheikh and mentor, Farid Newman, who also passed off a lot of material that we are doing with our children at a camp. Now, think what we got. We have a camp that we running for all boys. That's an agricultural outdoorsman sports camp. We getting children involved in farming, domesticating animals, archery, fishing, swimming, the outdoor stuff, survival, building tents, how to make fires from scratch, you know, how to slaughter and butcher animals so that we can eat food that's not detrimental to our health and killing us as they are doing through our food. Best way to knock off people is through what they eat. Nas said that in a nice little hip-hop joint in the double album he had on Suicide Bounce featuring Busta Rhymes. Nas hint to it, but wasn't nobody really hip to it. You understand? So what is BE Radio Conversation Between Brothers? We are a hub. We are becoming a hub to the new hip-hop, youth athletics, and education realm. That's our area. I'm a consultant for artists. Shout out to my man, Philly-owned journalist. He's working on some love. CK from Rittenhouse working on that love. The legendary OG of the Philadelphia hip-hop scene, Jazz Fresh. From South Philly to P, you understand? And then we have local talent. You know, I'm a hip-hop artist myself, but that's not what I look at myself. I'm an activist. I'm an educator. I'm an individual in the community getting busy. But it just so happened I can rhyme my ass off. And those who know me through that hip-hop twist know any MC in this city, I hear you bragging, I hear you saying you this and that, and I like a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all sound love, baby. Y'all sound love. But y'all know Brother Mujahid. When I grip the microphone, it ain't that too much debating on what's hot and what's not. What you heard was real as shit. And it probably educated you a little bit to make you go home and do some research or open up them books again. Because you ain't going to get the lollipop ABC 1, 2, 3 hit me hip-hop twist with me. You going to get the teacher teach and do the world good. The kings just lead and most of them was misunderstood, as KRS once said. The teachers teach, man, to do the world good. You understand? So we're going to dealing with a lot about open y'all up to what's the culture, what's our history, and what's our plans to do to get back to doing for ourselves. Doing for self. Shout out to Tifi, brother from South Philly, and Daoud Bey, and a lot of the brothers that's wearing the same banner because we come from the same source. Black economy, yeah, you know what it is. Control the black dollar, and we ain't got to get into, you know, who's what is what. I gave the elders they shout out. But as we go forward, y'all gonna see for yourselves what Brother Mujahid and Hanif, the CEO, been indulging in, and who we've been being mentored with, and how we've been putting things down. See, you know, when you're trying to make it a huge effect in the community, it's not an overnight thing. It's going to take a few years to link that with that, understand this. The best education is experience, so you're going to go through some things, ups and downs, around the hills, death, incarceration, health, individuals not showing appropriate love, but, you know, it is what it is. But if you know Brother Mujahid, then you know what's about to go down. You understand? So this is what it is. Conversation between brothers. And it starts from a book. And everything stems from the book. It's just not just a podcast, but we have a book. All right? A book, Conversation Between Brothers, is written by my elder from the way, my old head chef, Ahmed Jabbar Shabazz, Phoenixville State Correctional Institution for the last 44 years straight. And let me reiterate that. The author of this book that I helped rewrite, print out, with the gracious help of his beautiful nieces and his sister, Mama Joyce, Meek. What up? What's up with y'all? 44 years straight. That's longer than a lot of us been alive. Sheikh been incarcerated for 44 years straight. But yet, he has a college degree from Penn State, University of Penn, and Villanova. College degree. In the penitentiary. College degree. Shout out to my elder, my other OG, Black Dave Johnson, Daoud, AF 9795 of Phoenixville State Correctional Institution, we are working on right now in the campaign His Freedom, because he's been down for 46 years for a crime that he ain't even do. Just living by the rules, baby. You in the game and ain't no ratting going on with anything. David Johnson, 46 years straight for a crime that he did not do. And I go up and I go see these brothers, and they constantly have a smile on their face and in good spirits, regardless of the condition that they're in. So you can understand why my music will be more serious than a lot of other individuals' music, because I'm not around a bunch of popcorn, kitty bitty nonsense. I'm around something real serious, and I'm responsible for some serious people well-being. So I don't have a lot of time to, chuck and jive with a lot of you jivers. I'm real with it, man. It is what it is. I'm real with it. So that's what BE Radio and A Conversation Between Brother podcast has established themselves. Again, Black Economy is a situation that was handed to me. Not really handed to me, but passed down to me by the original. And for the last 10 years, I've been struggling to how can I bring what was done back then to a modified way of bringing it to the attention of the people now in a manner that they can love and enjoy, have fun, educate themselves, and benefit from. So now it's here. Black Economy, Inc. Hanif, the CEO. Mujahid, the MC. Along with journalists. Brother CK. Brother DY, Manny 215. Just to mention a few of the sound bites that we're going to be going over. And also we're going to be listening to some of the hip hop that I listened to today, like that Nas joint, Nas Lost Tapes 2. I'm stuck. It's like a breath of fresh air when you hear art and not just noise. And we're going to get into the difference between what's the hip hop culture and what's rap music. See, this is the kind of education that I put up in my classrooms, and you can see why the students love me so much. I want to thank the sponsors and the influencers. One, of course, Halal Bilal Enterprise, Abu and his family, Askia. What's up with you, baby? Sharif, Miss Jamila, Booby, Hassan, a lot of individuals that I met during that brief couple years of help maintain such a influential black-owned entity. And this is what we stress here over here at Black Economy. Everything is black-owned and done for ourselves and doing for ourselves. That's the cloth we come from. We come from that cloth of doing it ourselves. We ain't ask nobody for nothing. We from Philadelphia. We ain't ask nobody for anything. If anything, you jokers from outside of Philly need to get down with the jokers here in Philly because we serious here. Do the history. And we're going to go over a lot of history so my point to be proven. Do the history. Right? So shout out to Halal Bilal, Garden of Bilal Enterprise, Abu, may Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Forgive our brother. Grant them the best stay in the grave and grant them Jannah because they were soldiers fighting in jihad. When them white folks and the Italian mob and the rest of them individuals exploiting our community and our people and murdering us, it was a group of young men that said, no, we could do the same thing. And bounce Bruno and them right up out of our community. And we also have a project, like a documentary coming out called Black Economy Incorporated, when we will be speaking with some of the individuals who were amongst these men and some of the things that helped brew these group of men to become the protectors and the stand-up individuals that they were of our community. They can go ahead and put all the crime and everything that they want of what they did as far as in the street. All that is hearsay. But what I do know is I know a lot of families and people that I spoke to personally who appreciated them brothers for helping them starting businesses. Helped them create schools. Sister Claire Muhammad was the only school that we owned in this city of Philadelphia that educated our black boys and girls. That put together record labels. That helped brew talent. That helped actors such as Bill Cosby and a lot of them brothers out financially to follow their dreams and go for their hopes. That's something that they won't tell you. But that information was passed on to a brother by the name of Mujahid, and I got a big mouth. I had a big mouth. And I stand on what I talk about and what I say because I do the appropriate research. So I got every bit of information and example to back up every single word that I'm telling you. Not only through this podcast, but also through the hip-hop genre. There's loads and loads of projects of that ready. You know what I mean? So shout out to Sister Clara Muhammad School in Philadelphia, 47 for Wyalusing, Philadelphia Masjid. A lot of my elders that I love, respect, learn from, attend there. So every other Friday, at least once every couple months, I have to slide through there and get my gas and re-energize myself to get that history. I'm a fiend for history. That's what I do. Vertebrae Support Services and Fletcher Street Riding Club. My partners in the education circle where we developing our own school and outreach and program and education circles for the boys. Some coming for the girls soon, but we got to concentrate on our young men because they are the most hunted and they are the most sought after. And we're gonna get into that as well. Elevating Young Minds with my sister Asmara and my brother Hanif. We're gonna have a training ground for even at our nursery and daycare. We're gonna prepare our infants and toddlers to become future leaders. Those very babies would be the ones that will be taking on the community and the safety of our people while we old and gray and ready to go ahead and get ready for the grave. So we got to broom, we got to train the kids. Got to do that. Right? TIA Academy, Tarbiyato M Academy, where I teach 4th and 5th grade boys. Another self-owned education school. It's educating over close to 200 kids in a small, packed, garage-style building. Nothing huge, nothing extravagant, just space, and let's get the work done. Right? And, of course, the Lifers Association of Phoenixville, which, you know, I work diligently with those brothers. Mad love for brothers, especially Shake with the book. We got the book. The book is for sale, $10 each. You know what I mean? We don't have all the social outlets of how to order the book, so everything is pretty much direct, which is Sunnah. We don't do too much of the electronics. Hit me, I'll get with you. We exchange product for commerce right there. It's the Sunnah. Cash App and all that, everything is pretty and it's time consuming the whole nine, but right now I'm looking for a little barakah, a little blessing. So I ain't got no problem coming to you or mailing it to you. However it is that we got to do it, make sure you get this book. It's informational. It's written by an individual that's been in the belly of the beast for over 45 years. Beat all the odds, got all the educational credentials from college to carpentry to trade to skill, all that in 45 years, despite his condition. This is what he comes up with for information to bring back out here to the kids in the community. So you may ask, well, who is Brother Mujahid? Well, and how did Black Economy Inc. come about? I was born Northwest Philadelphia in a section called Somerville. My parents come from the same area, West Oak Lane, which is what they call Uptown. And I was born in University of Pennsylvania Hospital out West Philly. The very night that I came home from the hospital, my mother brought me to 21st and Shelton Avenue. '21st and Shelton Avenue. Now, for those, brand new jokers who got a lot to say about Uptown being soft and the whole twisty, that's them jokers that never left their block or their porch. That's them jokers, that's them jokers that would say that. But those who know and those that's in the knowing and those who move and shake a little bit in the city, they would tell you, oh, them Somerville boys is serious. Because they even been locked up with them jokers that I got plenty of old heads on death row. Not just doing life, but on death row. 21st and Shelton Avenue in the 70s and probably even in the late 60s and the 70s and the early 80s, 21st Shelton Avenue was the heroin capital of the city. So me and my brother Halim, we would be looking out the front window of our house right there on the corner, looking directly over at the bar and see all kinds of violence, stick-up, drug deals, prostitution, killings, and everything that a young 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old child could see. And my newsy self, only thing I could think about, like, man, I can't wait to get out there and have fun like they having. Right? So I come from a well family. I could tell y'all this, my great-great-grandmother, Grandma Dunbar, owned the first black-owned food fixture in South Philly off of 13th Fitzwater, I believe it was. So yeah, my family was boss players down the P. That's how they got the money to move uptown. My Grandma Dunbar, do your research. See, I'm not here just to entertain you or woo you. I'm here for you to educate you. You know, there's Malcolm on the microphone. Got to do your research when you're talking to Brother Mujahid, because I might hit you with something that you may not know. And this is what our people got to get back into, and using our mind, opening them books, get back into that research. Because if you research, like my old head Bo told me, if you knew better, you'd do better. It's time for a lot of us to start knowing, especially you young boys. You're living reckless out there. It's time for you to know better so that you could possibly do better. All right? And I come from a musical family. My father and my uncles had a doo-wop group that was better than the Jacksons if you leave it up to Mr. Kenny Gamble. This is one thing he said. That's not what I'm saying. This is what Brother Lukman, Kenny Gamble, said about my father and his brothers. But the only problem was my grandfather wasn't with signing over the rights of his children to someone else. So what stopped us from being the Jackson kids growing up on 2300 Jackson Street instead of coming up on 21st and Shelton Avenue, that was the difference. So they began to play in the church again. A lot of my uncles, my Uncle Will, a couple of my cousins, my great-great-grandfather, Uncle Georgie, they was pastors in the church. So I come from a speaking, musical, black, urban, black business style type of thinking family. And we was top notch at what we did. Again, my grandma Dunbar owned the first black food fixture down South Philly. Protected by our old head Bayot and them. Said, you ain't doing nothing to Sister Dunbar. My play grandmother was the barmaid at Speedy's Bar that was right there on 21st and South. Huh? And I hate to throw out credentials like that, but I seen everybody just fascinated with the gangster stuff. So let me throw a little something in here just to let y'all know who you really dealing with. A lot of people don't really know that about me, and this is the first time I'm really expressing that, because this is just information I got to put out there so that individuals understand and know exactly who's talking and who's doing the barking and who's doing the rhyming. You understand? So when I was brought home to 21st Shelton Avenue, again, I was brought home to Somerville. Shout out to Craig Haynes. Shout out to my big bro, Big Bert from Bottom Side Projects. Shout out to my old head Daoud, old head Smoke, old head Shep, old head Mailbox. A lot of my elders that made Somerville what it is, because back in the 60s, coming up, it was rough coming up and going in them jails and them juvenile homes, being from Uptown. So everybody thought Uptown was soft. So you got tried. And a lot of them gangs from South Philly and West Philly and Southwest Philly and North Philly, one thing they would say, oh, but you ain't going to be playing with them Somerville boys. They kill you. And them jokers can rumble. Right? So just imagine me coming up in the 80s when you got loads of millions and millions and millions of dollars floating through Shelton Avenue like it was paid in full. I literally seen jokers make millions. Rest in peace, Road. Make millions. This ain't no game. Right? The streets was real back then. The corner boy, the joker that was on a corner, he was making it close to 30, 40,000. The prices was love, so it was money everywhere, and they was giving back. You still had black businesses, bowlings, the open pit, Steve's, Primo's, Pee-wee's, Touch It Class, Mr. Hudson, barbershops. You even had the seafood guy that was set up you could eat the live clams and stuff right there on the corner of 21st and Shelton. Mrs. Johnson was the crossing guard. She had an Avon hustle going on, making money. Everybody was eating. Huh? Vintage 21st and Shelton Avenue. And those from the way we think about that should make us smile because it was some good times back then. We fought each other and we held off them jokers that was trying to come through and bust their ass. But at the end of the day, with us, amongst us, we had fun. They took care of us as young boys. Took us to go play ball. Sponsored us. Helped us with some of the things that we was trying to do. You know what I mean? Thorough old heads. And then as I got older, graduated from high school, Cardinal Doherty, shout out to Kyle Lowry, championship, NBA champion. After I graduated from high school, college wasn't even an option. I knew where I was going. Straight to them streets. That's where I was at with it. Norwood and Shelton Avenue. Me and my team. Doing what I was looking at for the last 15, 17 years outside of the front of my window. And after things got a little hectic with dealing on the Shelton Avenue twist and dealing with running with the individuals I was running with, I had picked up and I moved to Orlando, Florida, 2003. Moved to Orlando, Florida, 2003. Did the rap thing big down there with my man OG Duke from Erie Avenue. Shout out to Danger from West Virginia and brother the Gibson brothers from Alabama. My man Herbal from Detroit. And of course Killian and Sin from Turks and Caicos Island. We performed everywhere through Orlando. Paris Hilton nightclub to Orlando's most prestigious nightclub, the Turks and Caicos Island, to Nassau, Jamaica, Bahamas, I mean. You know, we was everywhere with it. And so much so, this was when Rick Ross first came out. I had brothers calling me from Philly like, yo, that nigga Rick Ross seen you because he got a beard. You the only nigga in Florida with a beard. Because it was too hot down there. A lot of them jokers used to tell me, how can I wear all that on my face? And like, this is the Philly Sunnah. This is the Sunnah of Philly. This is what's going on in Philly. We the Muslims. We rock this. This is what we do. Everybody was attracted to it. I couldn't understand it. It's just nothing but a beard to me, but it was hot down there, so I understand why a lot of them jokers ain't want to wear no hair on their face. But that was a trend that I had brought to Orlando scene that a lot of individuals didn't see or wasn't really on like that. Right? So then I came back to Philly after 3.5 months hiatus. Let the little neighborhood war die over and get myself right. Get my mind right. Come home ready to be a father to a child that I had adopted after the murder of my homie. And shout out to my oldest boy, Tyre. 19 years old. 19 years. Since that boy sat on my lap and looked up with me, no teeth, and smiled at me, and it was on from there. 2 months old. Now he 19. So I came back, Muslim, not in the street no more. And I linked up with my brother, Hanif, the CEO, and my older brother, Halim. And we sitting in the basement and we said, you know what, man? We got to start something that's going to take Philadelphia by storm, period. You got to start something that's going to take Philadelphia by storm. On the hip-hop tip, the community tip, and the street tip. And we sitting there thinking, and all of a sudden, Shafi Fields calls the phone. Shafi is a sports agent now, doing very well. Follow him on Instagram, the super agent. on Instagram, and you can see what he got going on and see what he doing. And he calls the phone and he said, listen, man, I'm glad you back in the city, but I need you. So I'm like, what you know? What's up, big bro? What's going on? And he said, I went half in on the steak with the halal balal, and since Pop been a little sick, it been some trickery with the money and the register going on down there, and we need some men down there, the whole shop down of jokers coming in and going up inside the register and taking advantage of Booby and Mr. Miller and the whole nine like that. So me and Hanif, we sitting there, we said, well, ain't this a honky-dory here? We said, we'll be there tomorrow morning. We come out to 52nd and Walnut Street, head in the store, and it was on from there. So much so Sam had to sneak back into the city at that time. Now we're talking 08, 07, 08, 09, when he was exiled from Philadelphia. Couldn't be here. Was out Detroit. Snuck back inside the city just to see who was these young brothers my partner brung in and speaking so highly about. They came and soldiered this shit up and shut everything down and aptly got this thing monopolizing. So one day, me and Hanif, we in the store, we chilling, doing what we doing. He was in the back, holding down the grill and the prepping area and the cleaning of it. Now I just was the brother in the front doing the books and handling the register. And we handling our business, and soon, and lo and behold, who come walking in the door? I knew exactly who it was once I caught eye contact. I knew exactly who it was. And having that type of visit from that type of individual who spoke highly of me, and I didn't even know if he knew who I was, but he knew exactly who I was, my name and the whole twist, and came to pay me homage. Now that did a lot to me. For the godfather of the city to sneak back into the city to see who was these brothers that the other godfather is speaking highly about, Mujahid and Hanif. So those who remember, and those who remember the Halal Balal on 52nd and Walnut at that particular time know exactly who Brother Mujahid and Brother Hanif is. Shout out to Brother Fahim from Kindred. Shout out to Brother Charlie Mack, bring it back, first out the limo. Shout out to Brother Beanie Siegel. All right? These individuals was individuals that came through. Shout out to Brother Kenny Gamble. Huh? And shout out to the numerous individuals that respected Abu that came through and spent money with Abu. Right? And from then, he said, you know what you brothers going to be? Y'all going to be the young black economy. We're going to control this black dollar. We're going to show you all these jokers that's supposed to be getting money. How can that money benefit the people without you flaunting on them? You put that back into a business that somebody's trying to create. You put that into an education or a business circle that individuals is trying to educate. You put that into something that's going to benefit the community, because the community is the ones that's going to support you. How you going to take money from the individual, then flaunt on them and expect them to continue to support you? That's retarded. You spend with black economy, we putting the bread back into the people. I don't want a whole bunch of $1 million. I want Jannah. And I can't buy my way into Jannah. But I'm a soldier. That's what I am. I can bust your ass physically, or I can sit you down and I can bust your ass mentally and through education. However you want to get it to go down. I ain't afraid to take an L. I know I got so. Remember time me and Hanif was in we went to go see Abu up in Einstein. And this is what really had me on going. He turned and he told me and my brother Shay Shakri was there. Other individuals, they was there. And he told me, brother, y'all do what y'all do. Don't worry about nothing because we got the soldiers. I was like, oh, shit. Don't give me that type of green light shaker. I'm going to try to run the whole city if I could. And the law knew best where I would have went if we still had Abu here making the moves that we making with his influence. I'll be the most arrogant joker on the planet. But like I said, education best goes with experience. So Allah knew best. He called our brother home. And for years, me and the brother was trying to make our way and seeing how we was going to go ahead and master up this black economy move. So here we are today. Again, shout out to our brothers, Do For Self and Tifi and the brothers, because I don't want individuals to think that this is a biting thing. Nah. These are two organizations coming from authentic sources, and we come from the same well. You know what I mean? His folks is definitely who they are. And they're holding up the Do For Self thing with vigor and legacy in them. And we supporting them. We rocking with them. Black economy is another wing. But it's just under a different mind state of an individual. It's under Mujahid. So shout out to everybody that support us, been supporting us, and that's going to continue to support us. Because there's a lot more coming. We got music. We got visual documentaries dropping. We got businesses open up that we looking to hire our people in the community. Trade schools jumping for the children to teach them trade, to go into business for themselves. We ain't playing with these jokers out here, man. This shit's work, yo. This ain't nothing that's just happened just by you talking. Some days you feel good about it. Some days you don't. Some days you don't want to get up and do it. Some days you gotta get up and do it. Some days you feel good about getting up and do it. It's always up. It's a trial from your Lord to see if this is what you really want to do. It's a trial. Test and error. And I can't wait for y'all to hear some of the music that we got on deck. I can't wait to share some of the visual that we got dealing with professional ball players and professional actors, and you know, a lot of individuals wouldn't even think that was going down with me because I'm not always on Instagram and Facebook, you know, celebritizing and showing what I'm doing and none of that. It's none of your business. It's best that you don't know, because you might be the boy that point the folk at you. Because I'm too much trying to, you know, put out there what I'm doing. Sometimes it's none of them people business. We're going to have live guests to come and talk, conversate with the brother. But I'm here to educate you. You know? I'm here to educate you and share some good music that's coming out of Philadelphia. Some good projects that's coming out of Philadelphia. So what's the goal of this black economy conversation between brothers? What's the goal? Well, the goal is to make this like a audio hub, a spot to where all kind of talent from the city could come and advertise what they're doing, and we're going to make sure that they get the support from the people. Why? Because I'm in the community. I'm in the grassroots. I'm with the people. I'm not the one that's just sitting behind the audio screen, just, you know, telling individuals what to do. No, I'm with the folk, and we're gonna be there, and we're gonna bring the culture, we're gonna bring the fun, but we're gonna make sure that the people get there so that the people can benefit. I'm a consultant. That's what Black Economy is. We're more of a consultant group, but we consult in so many genres, so many. All right. We promote young talent. We promote organization programs, music, black business. We talk real. We keep the talk all the way authentic. We slang it. We got well diction included. We got Arabic included, because we the Muslims. It's one thing we ain't going to, you know, throw up under the bus. Like, this is what it is. Dawah. to those that don't know. And we could slang the dawa in well diction. We could be well versed. Or we could get into the slang and talk back block. Nigga, however you want to get at it. But we can get at it. You understand? And we have to understand that we have to look into history, because history best proves the condition that we are facing today. The will was never recreated. It was just renamed and relayed down. Just because you have a gallon of Pepsi and you rip off that label that says Pepsi and you put milk on that Pepsi bottle, it's still Pepsi in that bottle. It's not milk. So you can rename it all you want, but the same substance is what it is. So our people faced this force of oppression before. And you always have to keep in mind, J. Edgar Hoover's manifesto was to prevent the rise of a black messiah. Prevent the rise of a black messiah, someone that would galvanize and organize the black community. And if you was one who was recognized of doing that, off goes your head by the Mr. White Man, Mr. Charles. So we have plenty of example of that with the exile and for the murder of Marcus Garvey, with the exile of Deuce Muhammad, with the exile and murder of Noble Drew Ali, with the assassination of Medgar Evers, with the exile of Robert F. Williams and his wife. Man had to flee the country because the Klan was shooting at individuals in North Carolina, and them Negroes said, well, we got guns and got bullets too, and we busting back. And J. Edgar Hoover say, oh, they just not going to lay down and get murdered. We got to get the leader up out of there. So they just want you to lay down and get this oppression and lay down and be murdered. Take it. Don't try to fight back or don't try to resist. If you do, Mr. Hoover is at your head. So I salute brother Robert F. Williams and his wife for setting an example of how black love can defeat any hate. And we learned that through Malcolm, my Sheikh El Hajj Malik Shabazz. We learned that through the assassination of Martin Luther King. We learned that through the assassination of Brother Chairman Fred. We learned that through the assassination of Bunchy and John Huggins. We learned that through the annihilation and the public humiliation and the slaughter of our soldiers in Attica. We learned that through the bravery of our sister Asada. We learned that through countless of more individuals that had to face assassination, exile, or incarceration in one of these underground dungeons that they got built all over this country that they advertising and throwing us into. And the one thing that all of them had in common was the voice. And this is the first conversation that I want to get into, is the voice. See, the voice can tear a mood. You come into your house and you want to soothe the atmosphere and the relation between you and your wife. What you do, you speak soft. And you speak words that'll make her either feel good or chuckle or laugh or just make her smile. It's the voice that does that. If you want to get your point across to a joker, it's your voice that's going to let him know, yo, that nigga serious. Or just his diction. And for years, and we're about to get into it now, for years, the voice has been something that's been monumental in the history of the African American and the Africans and the Negroes. Okay? So let's take a little historic African perspective about the voice. And once we finish this, then you'll understand why hip-hop and the rap music is so influential and so helpful or damaging to our black community, because we are people who are moved off of rhythmic style communication, voices. The sound of the voice, the way we speak was always something that was liked and something that was intrigued since the days of our Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the first individual, of course, I'm going to speak about is Bilal ibn Rabah. I named my son after this brother. He was a slave to the Arabs, to the Arab, the Quraysh, a slave from Abyssinia, which is now Ethiopia, Eurasia area. Eurasia is where Brother Nipsey Hussle was from, and his father. The Aksum Kingdom, Eurasia, East Africa, which once was the Kingdom of Abyssinia. And that's where the first group of Muslims that became Muslim took Shahada. Because a lot of the first Shahadas was the Africans. You know, they were slaves, the poor people. And Bilal was from that area. And he was chose to be the caller to the prayer because of his voice, the beautiful sound of his voice. It was the reason why Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had chose him to be the muezzin, the caller to prayer. And then you have the tribes of Abyssinia, the Eurasia area, again, where our brother Nipsey Hussle and his family and his father is from, that did the war poems, the war dances, the war paint, different styles of garbs. All right? The war poems, war dances, and the war paint. Now keep that in mind as we go forward. War poems, the dance, and the paint. And the style of fashion, of costumes that they wore as far as within their festivities. And when everybody became Muslim in that region, they had their way of wearing, being dressed modest, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, to dress modest. Right? And then you had the slaves, the transatlantic slave trade. Now, the transatlantic slave trade, we had the speaking code so that the master or the slave catcher and the slave seller wouldn't know what it is we're talking about. So we had the speaking code, something like metaphor in hip-hop. And that benefited until a rat done put the joker on to what we was doing. And then we had to go to another style of us talking, and that was called the Negro spirituals, where we would create what they would call spiritual songs, which y'all would call gospel now, to inform the community of what's happening with the Underground Railroad going, what the rebellion was about to do, who was doing what we trying to do as a community. They would put that into the Negro spirituals and sang it at their time of gathering when they was allowed to gather on Sundays and talk and sing right over Master Head. And you talk about slaves, individuals that were stripped of their culture, their tongue, their natural religion, their style, their family, where they stripped of everything. They come up with this intelligence to speak over such an intelligent man's head, as they call him. And once they got hip to the Negro spirituals, we picked up instruments and created the form of jazz. And with our talent as just natural Africans and black folk, we was able to speak through instruments. John Coltrane was one that was major with it. Philadelphia Giant. Yahya Coltrane is what we call him here in the city. Then you got Donald Byrd, and you got Miles Davis, and you got Dizzy Gillespie, and a lot of these individuals who created jazz. Now, the jazz artists was some of the first individuals that became back into the knowledge of themselves because their distinct visits to Africa. When they was performing in Africa and going over there, they become to get knowledge of who they really were. They knew their history didn't start on the cotton patch in Mississippi. They knew their history didn't start on the peach farm in Georgia. They knew their history didn't start in the sugar shack patch out there in Florida or the tobacco farm in Virginia. They knew their history didn't start there because they seen the pyramids, they seen the Sphinx, they seen black kings and queens. They seen the universities of Timbuktu and the libraries that was all through Africa that was destroyed by the crusade to hide our history. And look at us today. Some of us still don't want to read books. I mean, we was the center poster library for the world there in Timbuktu with Manson Musa and his brother Abul Bakari III that made their first voyage over here to the United States 200 years before Christopher Columbus accidentally ended up in the Caribbean. Accidentally. We was already over here chilling, trading gold, marrying, creating families, chilling with the Indians and the Pueblo Indians and the Cherokees and Navajos. We was already over here doing all that. 200 years before Christopher Columbus and his diseased people and ships accidentally bumped into the Caribbean. So you got to know yourself, man, in order to really face up to the fact that we are some genuine folks, man. This is why we own all the. That's why we are the talent in the NFL and the NBA and all this, all the athletic. We the talent there. We the talent with the music and the hip hop and the sing. We the talent, but we ain't making the money. We providing the entertainment, but we ain't providing the checks. And that's where everything is backwards, man. We got to start providing the checks, man. We got too much talent just to be, the ones asking for the money with our hand out. We need to be the ones that's passing off the checks to those who have their hand out. Because we got the talent. Now, with that brief history of the voice of the African, because I get into it a lot deeper, but that's only for when I'm in the classroom. Because I have kids, write up and research and, do their definitions, and you look at documentaries to really cementing in their mind and in their heart exactly who they are. But since this is a podcast and I ain't got no blackboard or no dry board behind me to put down the notes for you to copy and things for you to look up, this is just a brief introduction. And again, we dealing with hip-hop here. This is why we got to speak on the voice, because hip-hop is major when it comes to the voice. But you and I call lyrics. Some lyrics can influence you to do some things, man, that when you look back, you kind of regret. But it's just the power of the voice. All right, so what is hip-hop and what is rap? See, it's a difference between the two. And I could talk on this because I started rapping in 1986. Shout out to my man Troy Ack. I was trying to ride my bike. He taking all day long to come outside so we can ride our bikes. So I go up in his crib and say, like, yo, I was taking you so long. And I see him with the 2-deck radio and the little keyboard joint that had the little program Beatz already in there. And he got his rhymes laying on the floor. This is 1986, 87. And I asked like, yo, what you doing, man? What you rapping? And he looked at me like I kind of busted him, like, damn, I ain't no moves. I thought, let me get one of them raps, man. I want to rap. And I took off from there. 1986, 87 is when Brother Mujahid began MCing. A lot of y'all, half y'all rappers nowadays wasn't even born. When I picked up the pen and pad and started trying to spit like Rakim and Big Daddy, and we had the influence of Pop Art Records here with Brother L.G. Goodman and them, putting artists on, Cool C, Stead, Will Smith, EST. Oh yeah, Roxanne Shante from Queensbridge and Marley Marl from Queensbridge. They had to come to Philadelphia to get their first deal. Brother Williams that started Cold Chillin' Records, yeah, he was an underling intern for Brother LG before he started Cold Chillin'. LG put them on how to put a rap label together from Philadelphia. While they was up there with African Bambaataa and them wearing costumes and Indian hats, we was the ones showing them how to put on tailor-made figuadors and Gucci and jewelry. You understand that? Know your history. Then you won't be running to these other individuals actually to put you on. We already in the city that put legends on. Huh? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I ain't. So what is hip hop and what is rap? Well, to put you on, hip hop is a culture. Believe it or not, hip-hop is a culture. Hip-hop is the way that we live. We interact. How we be socially. What we wear. What's the trends. Where to hang out. The art. May I remind you, when I said the tribes of Abyssinia, they was known for their war poems, their war dances. The paint and design on their shields would let you know exactly what tribe that they was a part of. The Zulu, the Mandinka, the Wolof. And then they had their certain dress. You knew exactly the hairstyle, the box, the mohawk, the waves, the dreads, the dreadlocks, the plaits. You knew exactly where they was from when you recognized that style of hair or that way of paint or that design on the shield. It's a well hadith that it was two Abyssinian black young slave girls who were singing or melody-wise talking about the war between the two tribes of their area in the country to our mother Aisha, radiyallahu anha. Singing war poems to our mother Aisha, radiyallahu anha. And we have individuals that tell you, man, you know what y'all do with that culture is haram. Yeah, man, you know, you got a point. But we got a culture that's educating and putting us on and doing a lot better than a lot of your so-called guided leaders. So hip-hop is a culture. It deals with, of course, the music. It deals with fashion. It deals with style and trend. Deals with art. And it deals with dancing. And, you know, the dark side of it is the streets too, because that's where a lot of the artists and a lot of the fashion and the trend generate from what's buzzing in the streets, man. Let's keep it a beam. Rap is just the music. Joe can get on and rap all day long and not say a word. Lil Wayne is one of the fine examples that I think about when I think about rap. He could do the back, cat, sat, and mat all day long. But there's no way in the world that can hold any kind of light to what KRS-One was saying. Any kind of light to what the Guru was saying. Any kind of light to what Rakim was saying. Right? So rap is just like the music to this big entity called the hip-hop culture. The culture is a way of life. That's the difference. So we're going to be dealing with within a lot of hip-hop culture. And the music come along with it. Again, shout out to my man journalist. Shout out, of course, to myself. Jazz Fresh. The legend. CK. This is the most slept on. Manny Deuce 15, my young boy DY. And the hosts of talented young talent here in the city that we look to put themselves in the positions to make that Meek Mill move. Right? So I want to read something from the book again. Not to get off, I just had to pretty much put y'all on exactly what information as far as where we going with it. And again, if you wasn't on the beginning of the podcast, this whole podcast is promoting the book written by my sheikh, Ahmed Jabbar Shabazz, Charles Shep, at Phoenixville, A Conversation Between Brothers. Books for sale, $10. And read this. I mean, the book is magnificent. It's a guidance for those street niggas and street females. If you want some real game laid to you in the language that you understand and the way that you can understand it, but giving you solid, beneficial information, this book is what you need to have. And in chapter 1, the first chapter of the book is called The Hate That Hate Produced. Now, if you understand where our brother is going, then you know where he got this title from our sheikh, Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. The hate that hate produced, right? And I'm going to just read a line in this sentence. First, I'm going to read the poem that he got. It's called The Focus. And this is a poem that he written for the chapter 1, The Hate That Hate Produced. The poem, The Focus. Acknowledge our history. Our culture will make us stronger. We must remember that our cultural history did not begin with slavery. Our forefathers dared to make their peace with their God and nature. It made that peace a part of whom we are. The gift from that natural bonding was a spiritual civilization spreading out over a vast continent. For some of us, the denial instead of the acceptance of that link will encourage a self-awareness which will make us free. Ahmed Jabbar Shabazz. And in the book, he said African Americans are still reeling and suffering from the brutal and inhumane psychological effect of over 300 years of their forefathers' enslavement by white America. We are still reeling and suffering from the brutal, inhumane effect of slavery done to our forefathers. And it was strategically done. Strategically. A man by the name of Mr. William Lynch had rolled over to the shores of America from Europe, where he held his own cotton patch enslaved Negroes. In the late 1700s, I'm not sure, it was late 1700s. And he came and he said he could devise a plan that would keep your slaves enslaved for 300 years or more. And one of the things he said within that speech, which you can Google it, you can get it live on Google. Go ahead and punch the speech up yourself. He said you first must get the Negroes to disentrust each other and get them to depend on their oppressor for help, or in some in that effect. What he was saying, that for us to distrust each other and depend on the ones who are oppressing us to free us and benefit us. Now that sounds like that plan has been in effect. You're looking at the late 1700s. We're in 2019, so it's well over 300 or close to over 300 years. And he was correct. With that instant of distrusting each other and look towards the one that's oppressing us to help us. That sounds retarded. How we got all the money? How is the African American community the number one consumers in everything? Benefit every other nationality, the Asians, the Poppies, the Africans, these jokers, that joker. We benefit everybody else, but we can't seem to put our little ones and twos together to benefit ourselves. That sounds retarded. In a way, actually. That we say, listen, man, I know my man is wise in banking. I know he wise in real estate, and I know he wise within the game, and he can get out $1 or $2, but I don't think that we should link up together. Maybe we need to go to wise men in Wilshire to help us put our plan together. Or maybe we should go to Duke and Dukes. And these is the same individuals that's making millions and billions of dollars off of our dollar. And then we wonder why we don't got nothing. Wonder why we so sick in the community. Wonder why our children ain't being educated. Wonder why we can't start up nothing to do for ourselves. Why? Because we take our money and we spend our money outside of our circle. Don't you know every other nationality spends their money within their circles at least 7 times over before they spend a penny outside of their circle? And don't you know us Negroes, soon as we get our dollar, we spend our money right outside the joint. No way of recycling our bread. And we say that we are broke people, but we are the number one consumers in everything. So how are we broke? We ain't broke. We got bread. It's just the fact that we don't own Apple. We don't own Nike. We don't own Polo. We don't own the flat screen Zenith company. We don't own Sony. We don't own these material wants. No, we don't own nothing. So this is what Black Economy do. We are real sincere and serious about the blacks spending money with the blacks, keeping our dollar inside the community. Right? Keeping our dollar in the community, man. Helping our own. Doing for our own. Those that are blessed to become professionals and get that and go outside and make, those that come back, I salute them and I work with them. Don't owe me nothing. You put the venue together, I'm there sincerely. Don't need to give me anything. We just need this stuff to pop off. And also within the Willie Lynch letter, we talk about how to turn the slaves against each other, the tall against the small, the light against the dark, the women against the male. The mother against the child against the father against the mother. Everything is still the same, but with just a different label on it. Now you got the family court. They turn the mother against the father, the child against the father. You got the hip-hop music that had you degrading women like they ain't nothing, like your mother ain't nothing, like your sister ain't nothing, like your aunt ain't nothing, like your grandmother ain't nothing. And we just nodding our heads, dancing to the joint, and not even recognizing that we totally disrespecting the womb that bore us. Because it sound thorough and it sound nice over that track made by Jalil Beatz. And I ain't got to get into the black on black crime with the males. That speaks for itself. Killing each other, don't even know why. Why? What's the beef about? You own that block? Oh, do you, my man? You own that joint? Well, I got a couple homeless men that need 3 of these abandoned cribs. Let us get the keys and go ahead and fix them joints up and move them in there if you own the block, nigga. Oh, tell the police don't come down this block and don't patrol this area because you run this block, right? See, we living in a delusion. We ain't living in nothing real. That shit ain't real. That's fake. Real is when them brothers went up to Bruno's front door and said, listen here. Y'all stay on y'all side of Broad Street, and we stay on our side of Broad Street. And Shay Shakri told me himself that even Bruno, you know what Bruno said when them brave men came and approached him about that? You know what Bruno said? Bruno said, I knew y'all was coming. This is coming from an individual that's in the knowing. It's what Bruno said. The Don. Everybody want to be the Italian bosses and name themselves after these jokers. But here it is. We had brave men from Philadelphia that went to them jokers' front doorstep and said, listen, Knock, the economy ain't in y'all bank no more, nigga. Don't bring that over here no more. Y'all stay on y'all side of Broad. We stay on y'all. And if y'all come on our side of Broad, we going to send you back in the bag. And Bruno and the rough Italian mob, you know what they did? They just said, okay. And they stayed over there Wolf Street and 7th and Snyder and on that side and down there the Spectrum. But they wasn't coming over there where the road is at. They wasn't coming over there to Tasker Street. They wasn't coming over there to Christian Street. It wasn't coming to the 5th Street projects. Wasn't coming to 7th Street. They wasn't coming nowhere over there. You could forget that. And we ain't going to the Black Bottom. And we ain't going to 52nd Street. And we ain't going to Lancaster Avenue. And we ain't stepping to Haverford Avenue. And we ain't coming down Columbia Avenue. Or Lehigh. We going to leave that to y'all. Because we don't want no funk. And that was the power of black men in the community. This is why they want to murder and incarcerate us all, because the strength and the foundation of resistance of any oppression coming into our community against our women and our children and our neighbors and our school systems and our livelihood, the resistance is going to start with the black male. So you got to get rid of them if they want to execute their annihilation of our people. Well, it's a new day because you got some young boys and some folks out there that just don't fear them. While putting the vigor of resistance and jihad in the hearts of a lot of individuals that they don't even recognize it, and it's going to be a dog day in a hot town when the boiling point hits its tip. We got to get into the mode of protecting and doing things sincerely for us. Educate for real. Our children don't need to know about Mary Had a Little Lamb or the dragon in the night fight. They ain't got no time to be learning that stuff. We ain't got no time to be learning that the Borg created electricity by standing out in a thunderstorm, flying a kite with a key at it at the bottom of it. And say he created electricity when you can get a whole list on Google of black inventors that the white oppressors took the credit for. The refrigerator, train truck, peanut butter, the stop sign, the engine, the spark plug, all of that was created by individuals that look a little bit like you and I do. You understand? So this is what this podcast is about. Next week we're going to be a little bit more active. Got clips and audio, and we got new music that we are promoting for individuals to come through and just share the talent and what you're doing in the city so we can all get behind you. Whatever it is that you're doing. I don't care if you're starting up a rabbit club. If it's to benefit the community, then you need to get on this conversation and get into the conversation, let people know what you're doing. I don't care what it is. If it's something that's going to benefit our people and help us out and generate a dialogue that's going to be helpful to put forth an action plan to actually get out there and do the work of what we talked about, to benefit and help our community and the state that we're in, because we're in a dire state. It's killings going on by the dozens every night, where the killer don't know why he killed and the dead person don't even know why they're dead. The innocent bystanders that get hit don't even know why they got hit, don't even know what the shooting was about, but they're dead. And their family is in distraught. Because you heard 50 Cent and Lil Uzi and Trey 6ix9ine and the rest of these so-called hip-hop gangsters tell you I'm busting caps and I'm shooting stuff up and I'm spraying that. And you so loony and uneducated that you think what they saying is real. You think what they saying is all the way 100, authentic. They rappers, man. That's what they are. They ain't in the funk. They ain't in the oppression. A lot of their close friends are oppressors. Let's put money behind them to further oppress you. And you trying to be like them. It's a game. And they was correct by naming it that. They named it The Game. It's the game, that's the game. Yeah, it is the game. It is a game, for sure. But life ain't a game. See, that's the kicker. What you want to portray in front of the millions of internet individuals and your followers, and the whole what you want to portray, alhamdulillah. But the truth suffices over falsehood any day. So I'm going to keep it a bean. I'm going to keep it hot. I'm going to keep it the truth. Whether it's against myself or for myself. Right? And I get a little passionate when I talk. You know what I mean? When I talk about this. Because I can go on for days and days and you know, just put you on. But I get a little passionate because I'm a soldier, man. And if I get to talking too much about what's bothering my people and what's oppressing my people, then I'm ready to get violent. Because I'm tired of talking. And I have to, you know, work on that. You know, my wife tell me that all the time. Like, you know, seem like, you know, you're angry about something. And I don't be angry. I just be thinking. And some things that I think about it just be irking me. Like, man, I can't believe our folks is this gullible. I listen to this trash hip-hop and I just laugh how people really think this shit hot. Again, the beginning of the podcast, I told you I come from a musical background. family. So I know tone. I know sound level. I know rhythm. I can hear music different than the average Joe Schmo that just want to bounce beat and talk gibberish. That's whack to me. I don't care who he is. I'm into art form. Like, I don't like an artist that'll just come and draw a stick man. I want an artist that can draw and put the features into the drawing that makes it look real. That's art. My son can draw stick men. And I'm not into conversating with individuals who's on a think level as my son, and you're a grown man. Feel me? You know? So this is what it is. I want to welcome everyone and welcome the world to some real Philadelphia shit. Black Economy Inc. Established by my elder Abu Bobaines, and taken over, and the legacy continued through one of his most trusted shababs, and brother Mujahid and brother Hanif. And we here. So, we're gonna have we got a lot of projects coming up. I have a project that I'm putting together now. A project that I'm remastering called Urban Black Politics, Volume 1. Black Economy Inc. EP that's coming along with the documentary that we're shooting, that we're putting together. We got a documentary coming out that's highlighting the establishment of the mindset of black economy, controlling the black dollar and do for self. Speaking to some of the individuals that was around at that time of establishing such a monumental movement and blueprint to Philadelphia. Shout out to Mama Shabazz, the widow of our minister Jeremiah, who indulged her business in caring and catering to young children. Shout out to Askia. He'll be up here with me a few times, the son of Abu, just to speak on. You know, Askia can talk, and he got some stories that'll woo you from being the son of the Godfather to being, you know, a ripper running himself during the good old 80s era. Brother Hanif in the streets. Keep my brother in dua. Health ain't where it's supposed to be at or where he wanted to be at, so that he can put the proper work in that Hanif in the streets and his brand, Company 360, is looking to input into the black community. Just keep the brother in dua that he get his health good and get his strength and stamina up so that we can continue to Sharif the streets like we've been doing for the last 10 years. Highlight my artist, journalist, Philly's own. You could go on Spotify, download his project, Postseason. Journalist, Postseason, live on Spotify. You know, bringing that Philadelphia sound back. Shout out to Sister Idea Gamble. Shout out to my cuz, Mike Nelson, who's live, who's on tour right now with Wiz Khalifa on the Indecent Exposure Tour. He's the drummer, the heartbeat of the band. Shout out to CJ, DJ Bonnet, Chevy Woods, and the whole Pittsburgh crew. See, we want to unify this Pennsylvania hip-hop twist, too. So y'all got that twisted up, too. Like Cali, y'all unified. I see y'all. Texas, y'all unified. I see y'all. Florida, Atlanta. Everybody unified except Pennsylvania. And we got some of the most prolific artists coming from this area. Wiz, The Roots, and Black Thought. But yet, you wouldn't think Pittsburgh was in Pennsylvania. That's our neighboring city. We got some folks that's come from the city that go up there and they get busy with them brothers. right? So when you log on to the podcast, globaltunesradio.com for those that got the iPhone hookup. Those that got little Android boys like me, you know what I mean, the average smaverage. You can go to Google Play Store. We get the app from there. Global Tunes Radio. It's at the bottom of the link, bottom of the screen. And we'll be starting on. We'll be hearing sound bites from notable leaders that was here that left back messages on YouTube. We'll hear, you know, the music that we got going. I'll be updating y'all on my brother, my cuz Mike Nelson movement as far as the percussionist for one of the most hottest acts on the planet right now. And here it is. I'm just brother Mujahid. I teach social studies and science. And I do the hip-hop therapy with my brother Ronald, the hip-hop therapist, Ron Crawford. So I'm more of a community activist. I'm in the hood, man. Literally in the hood. And I'm in every hood, from Cobbs Creek back up to Somerville. I'm there. That be me. Philadelphia, that be me. West Philly, we took that by storm by the permission of our elder. We've been living in the high rises right there on 43rd Street for almost 4 or 5 years, and people thought that's where we was from. Nah, my man, he from South Philly, Frankfurt, and I'm from Somerville. We just move sincerely, and we move militant. We soldiers. And we link with like-minded individuals. That's all. Doing us. So I appreciate y'all allowing me to introduce what it is and what we doing. Next week we're going to get into the show for real, for real. A lot of entertainment going to be jumping with this show. A lot of entertainment. We ain't just going to be doing a lot of rapping. We're going to be doing some listening too. And we're going to create the rapping off the listening. And we're going to promote black businesses from the rip. If you got a black business that you need to get up here and get some rapping, hit me up. Come on and you go ahead and rock out and promote you. Tell the folks to log on and listen to what it is that you got for the people. You know? Any talent that you have, anything that you're trying to do, and you need a voice out to the people, conversation between brothers. Holla at Black Economy and them. If you're an artist and you guarantee your sound to what it is the sound of Philadelphia, we neo soul, jazz, rhythmic individuals, man. We ain't the club popping, bouncing up and down. That ain't our twist. You know, we rock gators with ruffle soles and figuedoras and double platted suede plat, you know, telling-made boys from Palmyra. What's my man name? Palmyra. Now it's Hamid Halliman and, you know, telling-made joints. So we ain't trying to be in clubs bouncing up and down, spilling stuff on our telling-made shit. That ain't what Philadelphia jokers do, man. We different. We come in with our babe and our wives on our arms, dressed to impress, come to talk some business, go ahead and do a little two-step so you won't get the wrinkles up in your gators. Hop in our wheels and get back to the dial and get back to the bait. Gotta get up for prayer in the morning. That's who we are. So we ain't got time to go out and get all sweaty and bouncing and jumping. That's not us. Kenny Gamble laid down the sound that we rock off of. Carvin and Vidal and them created a more futuristic sound to it with the neo soul. And Brother State Property and Major Figures and the Roots. And the brother showed us how we can implement that rhythm and fly beat and sincere messaging into the hip hop. And that's the lane that we staying in. And we busting anybody ass that dare to step in that lane. You ain't rocking with us, yo. You think you gotta get, you think you can, you chewing Jern and CK and Jazz and allow, but you gotta get, before you get to them, you gotta get through me first. And a lot of you jokers ain't gonna even be able to get a bar past me. Been doing this before some of you niggas came out the wombs of your mothers. And my diction and my penmanship is A1 because I read and I study. So there's nothing that you're gonna say to me speaking tough or speaking gibberish that's gonna silence the truth that I'm bringing in every bar. I'm the only individual that can take every single rap that I have and I can give you an in-depth lesson on every single bar. Because I ain't got time to tell any lie in anything that I say, because I know Muslims, we keep mindful of what comes out of our mouths. So everything that I speak has to be the truth. So how are you going to defeat that? How are you going to outdo that? How are you going to embarrass that? It's impossible. So, Conversation Between Brothers podcast. We back. We're going to be back at it every Sunday. Every single Sunday. Every single Sunday. 8:30 to 10:30 to begin your week with some beneficial information. Some beautiful melody. And some messages inside of the melody. If I could serve you food through this joint, Joker, you're going to eat too. Know who we are, man. Black economy. When you see that BE period, then you know that's part of them folks. And when you see that BE period, no matter if it's a t-shirt to a sticker, support it. Because the finances that's made from a lot of our merchandise, our material, from our books, is being put back not into our pocket, but back into the community, because we got schools and camps, businesses to invest in. That's going to turn around and educate your children, your grandchildren. That's going to hire your children, your grandchildren. It's going to benefit your children, your grandchildren. We can't take the bread with us. Once I'm dead and gone, it's a wrap. Only thing that's going to be in the grave with me is my deeds, not a bank account, nor my car. Even though I would like a huge bank account, I would like a nice car. That's nothing wrong with that. But that's not my priority while I'm doing what I'm doing. If I wanted to do that, I would have been on. But I was a joker that had a couple dollars before. And I see how that couple dollars ain't do nothing but was lawyer fees and bail. Ain't benefit me none, or my family, or my children. But Tyre was the only one at that time. None. So make sure y'all go and download the app, Global Tunes Radio. Global Tunes radio.com on the iPhone. Go to Google Play Store for the regular jokers, us Androiders. Global Tunes Radio. And make sure y'all log in and tune in every single Sunday. 8:30 to 10:30. And get in with this conversation between brothers. For those that took the time out to hear the introduction and support me tonight, I appreciate y'all. Got a lot more to go, a lot more to discuss. I see the love coming from a lot of individuals. Shout out to Sister Annie, Brother Al, Miss Yolanda, my man Ron, my cousin Gene, Big Pook. Now Pook, my big bro. He'll be coming up here, dropping some lines. His son played for the Denver Broncos. If you see the shirt that I got on, representing nephew Will. NFL player that takes all his whole offseason just being in the hood, giving back. Not going to no Bahamas, not going there, not spending trips all the way out there and doing all this. Young brothers here in the city of Philadelphia dealing with the at-risk youth. Hands on. Shout out to my cuz Darian Dante. Dante just got off the BET talent stage with Irv. Did very well there last night. You know what I mean? Shout out to Hanif, the CEO, my big bro. My big bro Halim. I want to send some love up to my big bro that's incarcerated, Albion. Money Mike. You know, Mama Joyce. Meek. You know, my old heads, all my old heads from Somerville. All my old heads from South Philly, my Alligator. My homegirl Blackie, Monica. My cousin Lil Raw. And all my South Philly family. My West Philly family, the school, Sister Claire Muhammad, Philadelphia Masjid, Brother Email Wally B. Sheikh Shah. Askia. Imam Nordine, you know, a lot of my elders, man, that, you know, embrace me well when I come through, like the woo. Shout out to my man Boris Sadiq from the Bronx, New York. Issa and brother Salim, my young Shababs from up there in Harlem. Shout out to my brother Early Doucette, retired NFL ball player, now Yusuf Numair down there in Houston with brother Maine Gotti. Over there in Houston, in the Politics clothing store that we're looking to open one up here in Philadelphia. Shout out to my god brother Shafi Ali Fields down there in MIA, getting these players that multi-million-dollar contract straight. So we've been working, we've been everywhere. We just ain't had the time to go ahead and film it and put it on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, you know what I mean, for y'all entertainment, because it was business being handled. It wasn't no entertainment. We was handling business. All right? So again, Black Economy Inc. like to welcome y'all to our world and hope that we are a benefit and a help to y'all. And the conversation between brothers, the book and the podcast is our voice to communicate with the people. And again, this one here was just me, you know, introducing and just, you know, generating a little rap, just to, you know, to test the waters, to warm the mic up. Next week, we getting into the broadcast. So it's a lot of entertainment, music, discussion, sound bites, that whole twist like that. And if I don't play something for myself, then I always going to leave y'all with a freestyle or something, just so y'all know, you know, where I'm at with it. So all that's coming next week. Tell a friend to tell a friend to link in. If they want to get involved with something that's beneficial, get involved with something that can help them, get involved with something that could, you know, help their idea come to light, tell them to log on and tell them to get with us. All right. So with that being said, I want to thank all y'all. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Y'all know how sincere Brother Mujahid is. And I want y'all all to be safe and be vigilant and mindful of your actions this week so that you can make it the next Sunday to indulge in another conversation with your brother. All right. And I'm going to leave y'all on the words of my elder. If you know better, you do better. Black economy. Brothers loving the lost creation. Conversation between brothers. Brother Mujahid. Signing out. Assalamu alaikum.